Oh wait. Oh, they're back. They're still here. We still have one viewer. I did. I'm actually streaming at the same time as we're doing the show, and I got distracted by cutting up the Ustream for a moment while I was trailing.
Right.
But yeah, the pizza delivery person showed up, and what a stereotype. It's like, oh yeah, she does smoke pot, but it
It's
wasn't.
awesome.
But the pizza wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It was for.
It was definitely for me, and I do smoke pot. Woo. That's a stereotype, and I'm okay with it.
So is it Domino's?
No, it's there's like a mom and pop like place, like it's privately owned, not too far, and they're open till 2. To be
Yeah.
honest, they hold really weird hours. I think they get more business in the later hours when all the other pizza places pretty much close.
You're not supporting a tyrannical corporation either. Helping local business.
No tyrannical corporation.
No, always good to help local businesses.
Right, and they'll deliver till 2 in the morning. So it's
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I call and they bring me pizza.
I've heard it's hard. I've heard of hookers being harder to find at 2 in the morning than that. That's awesome.
You might not find a hooker, but we can get you a pizza.
I can get you a pizza depending in the mile radius.
I wonder if, like in Colorado, if the pizza business stepped up.
Oh man, I can only imagine like not only the like the marijuana business just in general, but like places like Chiba Hut or all of that. I mean, there was a lot of already marijuana. Here's the thing about Colorado. I've been there plenty of times. I love Colorado. I mean, I love Boulder, Colorado. I've had great times there. I like Denver. I like it all. I like Denver. I like just the whole state. It's like, because I'm an alcoholic, and it's an alcoholic. It's like Beer City Central, and the only way to get decent beer there is to actually go to a brewery. Because they have like this like percentage law on alcohol. It's weird. And but they're everywhere, and that's what you do. You just kind of just go brewery hopping. Fort Collins was really fun, but here's the thing: it was already really weed oriented. Everybody was smoking pot, and it was kind of like doing it freely. Like they didn't really care. It reminded me kind of a lot like Oregon people do that.
Oh yeah.
Portland people be smoking weed on the street corner and be like, oh.
I can guarantee you, I've seen
whatever.
in this town, dude. I've seen people smoke meth in front of cops, and no one cares.
Are you
I'm not
serious?
joking. My dad's friend, this chick Lori, went outside when they were, knocking on her door. She sat on the hood of the car and just pulled out a meth pipe, and she didn't even get arrested.
Yeah.
It was awesome, though. I was trying to contain my laughter at the entire situation, because I was trying not to be a dick, but it was just too funny.
It's amazing how that stuff works.
Well, how is but is that symbolizing something? Is it? I mean, are now like they like maybe just drugs in general, or just like have they just lost the drug war?
People are understanding that prohibition doesn't work, and it's just more common in certain areas because you do influence your peers. I'm surprised that Oregon didn't pass marijuana legalization during the voting because, for a long time we were at the forefront of marijuana politics. It was amazing. I mean, and a lot of the modern science techniques that are used in like aeroponics and stuff were invented in this area around Rogue Valley, and Applegate area. There's a lot of science, like they grow it scientifically, and they've done it for a long time. We were a medical marijuana state already. Plus, I've had cops pat me down and like they like pull it out of my pocket and they're like, oh, yeah, not what I'm looking for, and then you just put it back in. Don't even give a shit. But then of course, there's always some of the cops will, but I think it's great to see people becoming more accepting of something that doesn't hurt them.
Right. Agree with that.
I couldn't imagine living in the Midwest, because out here, just people are very for that kind of freedom. But it's hard to just imagine someone really being against something like that. It's kind of like being against gay marriage or something like that. It's that's a person who believes that. It's it's because it's so asinine sounding. Like.
I lived in the Midwest. I lived in Nebraska.
Oh man.
I could tell you, and I am an avid drinker and pot smoker no matter where I go. And granted, I had to make a lot of trips to Denver, right, to get weed, to get my pot. Like I would drive once a month, buy a large amount of pot, and drive back, right? Well, Let's just say I had the cops come to my house one night, and I let them in, and not even thinking about it, I had a bunch of weed and my bong on the table. Okay? And so they're like telling me all the stuff that they could charge me with, but instead they just take it and they do write me a ticket, right? For like $175, which I think is pretty much was the fine here in Oregon for a long time. And I go to court for it, and I actually asked the judge if I paid the fine today, if I could get my bong back, and he was like, "Excuse me," and I told him it was I said it was under artistic freedom of speech through art, and it was an artistic glass piece, and he's like, well, so I'm to understand that it's like and I'm like showing him how big it is and how artsy it is, and I had like the whole court cracking up laughing. It was really kind of funny. Even the judge was laughing.
That's awesome, dude.
He was asking me if I had, like, he goes, can't you find something better to do with your time than use this drug? And I said, dude, I live in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. What is better to do with my time?
Yeah, there's only two things to do there, and that's, get arrested or, avoid getting arrested doing drugs.
Yeah, exactly. And he was laughing, and he was like, no, you're not getting it back. And he dropped my fine to like $75.
Dude, I would have pissed myself laughing if I was that judge.
He was. Dude, the fact he was just dumbfounded that I asked for my paraphernalia back. I was like, no, I'm dead serious. Screw that.
The only thing you should have done more is ask if you could have the drugs.
My house on some bullshit. Walk into my house because I let you in. Didn't even think twice about my shit on.
Yeah, because it's not a thing to you. It's not a thing. It's not something that you think.
It's my normal lifestyle. That's just how I live. If you come to my house, there's usually a bomb on the table. On the coffee table. Like, for real.
Right, after you come to my house, my dad's on the coffee table, so you get used to it. It's not a shocking thing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I never looked at it that way, and that's the way I was like, but it was just funny that it was like seriously 8:30 in the morning, and I literally had like, there's all these people in there for all this different shit, and they were just cracking up laughing. It was great. My girlfriend at the time was there, and she was just like sinking in the bench, like all embarrassed.
How long ago was this?
Oh, let me see. I have dates. Let me see. I have my ID. I have my Nebraska ID, so it would have been, probably about 2009, 2010.
Okay, so not that long ago.
No, not that long ago.
But you can I'm always curious to see like where, how, what year it is and where the litmus surrounding the laws are, at that time. I remember, like, I think it, huh?
Pot, very bad. If you have shitty pot, even worse, which is really weird because they have a lot of shitty pot, right? A lot of brick pot. And not if you have brick weed, not only can they charge you, for the pot, but if you have like stems, like if you have separated and you have stems, they can charge you per stem and per seed that they find. So if you have like really crappy brick pot and they take it and they break it up and it breaks out into a bunch of seeds and you're not cooperating with them and you're pissing them off and talking shit, they can charge you for each seed individually, and that's a federal offense.
Wow, I had no idea. So it's better to have good pot than to have shitty pot.
Yeah. Plus, if you have it in like a plastic bag, or if you have plastic bags with you, they can try to charge you for distribution as well.
Yep.
That's always one of those ones when you get arrested and you're a dealer. Even if you're not a dealer, you just have to have Ziplocs in the car next to it, and you can get that charge. It's it's so funny. Some of the things corporations try to make out legal, illegal, I guess. I wouldn't say that this is within any sort of sensible law, but phone company, like music companies, want people to pay if they hear someone's ringtone that has their song in it.
Right.
So basically, if someone's phone rang in the movie theater or something like that, and it's a song, they'd want every person in the theater who heard it to pay them money.
Well, that's insane.
That's some balls right there, trying to get that from people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's just scary to me because like the ringtone, a lot of them are given for free or you buy the ringtone. So it's like what, like it's how can you compare it to like ASCAP or something like that? You know what I mean? It's like, to what level does this go? I mean, like, again, you were talking about the TPP document that you know, read.
Yeah, I used to have it before my hard drive fried. I still
Yeah,
have it. I gotta get it pulled off of there somehow.
yeah.
I don't know.
So, but you know, it started out sounding with copyright stuff and patent stuff, you know, patent things and copyright and this and that and music and entertainment.
Yeah, that's what it was all about. The whole thing was written about music, entertainment, social media, people doing shows like this over things like Skype. I mean, that's what the whole thing was written, and that's what it looked like. And people were like, it's NDAA, it's, but nobody, it's like, it's so weird how people can read that and just skip the very first 2 pages. The very first page is the cover page. It looks like a cover page of a report. The next page looks like an intro with some like weird designs and numbers, like a key thing. And I think people just skipped that and then went right to the report and said, this is what it's about. The weird part is, if you read that first page, it tells you that this is a code to read the whole thing. It's like a secret decoder ring that comes out of a Cracker Jack box. It literally is. So you take it and you apply it to everything else you read, right?
Right.
It changes the whole thing. It makes it a completely different discussion. They were talking about plants the whole time. They were talking about plants, genealogies, getting patents and copyrights based on genealogies that can only be grown there, but they have to be able to prove it. And it was insane. And so you take the key gen away from it, it looks like it's about internet stuff. You put the key gen on it, and it's about plants. It's completely weird. It's tripped out. Like, it was written that way, like all spy tech. Like, here, you gotta use this to read it, to understand,
Well,
to get it.
what's interesting is that there's rules for all of the things that are there, and then they're the same rules apply to all these different things. Which when do you actually really, or it's the proposal of how you're going to deal with everything. So mandating, you know, the song that's the ringtone of some.
This was the proposal that they were gonna go have, and it came out a week, like it came public, I should say. It really wasn't public. I had it well before it went public, but I had it, and it basically came out and said, basically what they had already been meeting on for the last, few months, and then they were gonna have their big meeting out in Utah.
Uh-huh.
Well, they had their big meeting. This went public. I mean, it ended up going viral.
Oh yeah, and they want a lot of money for some of these suits. I mean, like, okay, like copyright infringement, anything that is ever infringed upon, and like, let's just target, the Motion Picture Association of America and some record labels and stuff. They want so much money that if you sold every single resource on this earth and everyone's time as slavery, it would still not be even close to paying off how much money they're owed due to piracy. That's doesn't make any sense. They got some balls asking how much they are.
Yeah, it's insane.
How can you
What's
consume?
piracy is it was the last time you went to see a movie. I, for the first time, went to go see a movie just a few weeks ago and was appalled that they wanted almost $13 a person.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was 7 when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not even. When, I don't know how old you are, but I don't like. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember going to see movies for like $5. If I had $10, I could see a movie, eat popcorn, have a candy, and get a drink. $10 can't even get me into the movie, let alone a popcorn.
Right.
It's
Well,
insane.
it used to be that the tickets were pretty cheap, but then the food was just outrageous, you know.
Cheap anymore though.
And now it's everything.
You know what stays cheap though? Ramen. And it's like a couple cents. Like, you gotta think about it. What is in ramen that makes it that cheap? They overcharge for everything. Why is it that cheap? Do you really want that in your body?
Yeah.
There's no way that anything's that cheap without like some of the most fucking shit. Oh man.
Definitely. Well, you know what? We do need to take a commercial break. We'll be right back for the last portion of Hollywood Hemptress Hour. Stay tuned.
That is true. Ramen does creep me out. It's like 11 cents for that. Nothing else is 11 cents. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty horrid. Um, so can we come back on this one with fancy? Did we play Fancy Panties yet?
We can make that happen.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And then, yeah, it's the last 20 minutes.
Dog food is cheaper than ramen. If it's cheaper than dog food, I wouldn't want to probably handle it with a hazard waste uniform, not eat it.
Well, at least something's cheaper than ramen.
Uh, uh,
I hope my. Oh, I'll talk about that later. Um, I'm worried about the cigarette smoke in my room.
she should be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
You want to listen to the ads?
Okay.
I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain, I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, my doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Like I got real bad arthritis last night. I just had to close my hand.
Oh my God.
I'll just close my hand. That does it for me. It just pops just from closing my hand.
Oh my God.
Doesn't that sound weird too? Like,
Wow.
I can't close my hands without making that noise.
You can't. Really?
It happens just from closing my hands like that. Like it just pops. All of them. I have horrible arthritis. Yeah, it hurts too. Like after off, I keep doing it. Like they get all like swollen up and stuff. Like, I can't close my hands without hurting.
I wish I could. I wonder if there's something that have you looked into, like, is there natural ways of healing it?
Yeah, I've tried most of them, but basically what they do is they drug you in the entire life. That's what it consists of, is putting you on opiates or you know, like NSAIDs that fry your fucking liver. And then you know, it's like other problems I suppose with it too. But there's no way my hands should be like this. Well, I guess like I used to get in a lot of fights when I was a teenager. Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's, you know, working on a keyboard or being in a band. That was always great. I got kicked out of 2 bands. One time it was for my being way too high all the time when I was in like middle school, and the other time it was because I threatened to kill somebody because they were stalking my girlfriend. So I picked him up when he was on his way from school, like kidnapped him, pinned him somewhere, and put a blade to his throat. And was like, you know what? Don't stop. I'm gonna cut out your spine and eat it in front of your parents. And this kid pissed himself. And then my friend was like, you know, like just like having fun with it, like laughing his ass off. He was like, yeah, give me your money. My friend just basically mugged this kid out of nowhere, like as a joke, and the kid really thought we were serious. It was. Yeah, but I got expelled from high school for that too. I got back in, but you know, that's one of the things they get expelled for, huh? And it was on video. My friend Donnie decided to record the whole thing.
Prescribed by doctors. I think that's entirely appropriate.
This may sound strange, but I want to pay taxes. See, I don't drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes. I relax with something science has proven is much safer, marijuana. And I want to buy it somewhere that charges
When
taxes.
she said that, she's got
Something that's much
she's
safer,
gotta be from fucking
marijuana.
Boise.
Alcohol and tobacco.
Yeah.
What do you think should profit? Our schools and roads or drug dealers?
Visit Marijuana Policy Project Foundation at joinmpp.org.
Come on.
or call
The
1
war on drugs is the way of the world, dude. That's how. It's a lot of money.
And information.
That's
See
awful.
what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
On the telephone and the movies that we know.
actor with dyslexia. When I flip it, I'm reading it backwards. As the cowards that can't rise up without using some manners. I'm on the counter when I'm chopping bananas. And with this
What is this?
It's Sasquatch. It's a rap from .com Records. It's one of the new talent. One of his songs.
I knew there was a reason why I didn't recognize it.
Yeah. It's the first time it was ever played anywhere was here.
I know a lot of rappers and models and stuff like that. A lot of them don't live in the real world. They're like politicians. They don't ever have a real job. They've never done anything for society. They're just like, I don't know. There's this guy I knew. He was a rapper. They called him like Catalytic or something like that. I don't remember. Either way, he was the most spoiled human being I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh yeah, and he tried to bribe a cop. That was awesome. Or bribe the officer. Routine. But no, yeah, hanging out with models is weird too. Like, a lot of them don't know how their words affect people. Like, or some of them are like really depressed too. It's like, I don't know. It seems like something that hurts people when they do it. But the fashion industry is a horrible fucking thing. It's like that. It's giving people a sense of how do you say it? I guess just like a social stigmatism almost. But not everyone, I suppose. Not everyone is so disassociated. Did you ever hear about that guy who robbed a pharmacy in South America, and then as he was in the parking lot, someone stole his car, and then someone ran up and stole the pills out of his hand and stuff, and then left him there. So he got robbed twice right after robbing a pharmacy.
And we're back with Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network on iHeartRadio. That was Fancy Panties by Sasquatch from the .com Records label. He was on the show, I think it was the 20th of December. So I'm giving a shout out to Sasquatch and, the guys at .com Records and Hawaiian Vapors, too, as well, who have a kiosk in Vancouver. So, yeah, so put that out there. So we're at our last, we're going to be done with the show here. And about, God, it's going to be 5 to the hour. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. This has been kind of experimental. It's the first time that I've done the show in my hotel room after a show. You're not sure what's going to happen. I do think maybe next time it's hard to maybe get people after they've been performing and out not to drink too much alcohol. But it's a real slice of what kind of the road is like sometimes.
It works though.
It works. I mean, sometimes you get caught up. You go out, you have a couple drinks, but anyway. We're here, and I'm with my co-host Kevin Korn from Hardcore Entertainment. There was. Why don't we bring it up? We sort of talked about these crystals before we go that has the data. Can you tell a little bit more about that, Kevin?
Well, they're basically quartz crystals, but they hold information, data, 5-dimensionally, and basically they can store data, a lot of it, pretty much forever. It's like the future. It's pretty much, basically, it's going to be the future of what they're going to start putting in your computers. They're basically going to start using quartz crystals for memory drives, basically.
So, I mean, but let's say you looked at a site that you didn't let's say you looked at a porn site. Now, is that porn site going to be held in the crystal forever? And they go, hey, you looked at, lesbian duo,
You could override it just with any kind of data that's how they shred data, so it can't be recovered off a drive. Because when you delete something out of the recycle bin, I'm not just talking about putting it in. I mean, you erase it, it's still there. All the computer does is mark that as blank space. there's that data still there. It's just written as rewritable. So unless you've wiped over that with new data, it can still be recovered. And then even if it does get corrupted a little bit, it can be recovered to some extent. So there's these techniques where they shred over it with zeros, like up to upwards of 160 times or so, and it's very slow, but it makes the file almost completely gone.
So now, like on the break, was there a point where can they score data in, like, let's say things that, like, I mean, Crystal, like, of course they say everything is a living being, or everything has an electricity.
Is what they're already using it for.
What?
The weird part is what it says they're already using it for.
What?
They're using it for okay, so they're using it. They've already so they already realize that they can store this information. So they've already started using it to create like nanostructures, but they fuse in quartz. And basically they say like the self-assembled nanostructures change the way light travels through glass, modifying polarization of light that can then be read by a combination of optical microscope and a polarizer, similar to that found in Polaroid sunglasses. So it says, leave a note for your great-great-grandkids to throw on some 5D glasses and upload that file containing your life story to their cyborg brain by scanning it with their polarizing eyeballs. Easy peasy. It's thrilling to think that we have created the first document which will likely survive the human race, said Professor Peter Kransky.
So that's very Terminator 2 right now, to think that your cyborg brain, like they're already like making people into,
we can secure the last evidence of civilization. All we've learned will not be forgotten. Basically, they're saying they can store history, like our life history and everything we know on them, and no matter what happens to the planet or us, it'll always be there.
Yeah, basically, if you can find a way to keep it from being destroyed, and just throw it out into space.
Well, the better question is if that's the case, if we can encode information on it, who's to say that there's already not information on crystals?
Yeah, some asshole who went back.
That they're reading right now.
Yeah, some people could just be, like graffitiing all the crystals and stuff around the world. Aliens or something like that. Did brought us here and apparently graffitied all up on the crystals like children.
That's really interesting. It's feeling very like kryptonite almost. It's almost Superman-ish.
They call it the Superman crystal.
Oh, they all.
They call it the Superman memory crystal.
See, that's what weed does to you.
Someone on that team goes to Comic-Con. Then there's no way.
Right.
Name a piece of technology after an ongoing nerd joke kind of thing. No way. One of them goes to Comic-Con at least one of them named, or all of them.
Speaking of Comic-Con, we actually, Kevin and I went to Comic-Con in Salt Lake City, and then we documented our trip through the Freedom of Joyce Ustream, and made we just released our first pilot, and it was titled Superheroes and Freemasonry on New Year's Day, and we got like 500 hits, 500 views in 24 hours.
Yeah. I knew that was going to be a good idea to release it on that day. And everyone was like, no, they'll be watching. I'll be like, they'll be so hungover that I'll be in front of their computers.
And there were people actually, like, they were like watching it, and it was shown in a Chinese restaurant in New Jersey, huh?
Yeah, it was aired in a Chinese restaurant, in a bar in a Chinese restaurant in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Which I thought was epic.
Yeah, that was kind of fun, and maybe someday in Colorado, or Washington, when we have these places where you can actually like smoke a joint after your meal, or maybe the waitress even comes up and goes, "Hey, what kind of strain of hash would you like with dinner tonight?" Or we've got this beer that's our special cannabis strain blends, and then you could sit back and have a really good meal and sit back and smoke some really good weed and watch trips on your You know, I mean, I
Just
don't
like
know. I mean,
just like a bar, but with a different drug.
if it changed, if you could actually just like smoke a joint after while you're at a meal, would it? I wonder if it would like make people stop watching ESPN. Would sports be as would sports bars be as popular?
I think that'd be just equivalents of that. And there's this bar, I think it's somewhere near Russia. It's called Club Czar,
Uh-huh.
and they have this kind of they're on this international area, and no drugs, no controlled substances, most commonly found in the world, are illegal there. So people of people rich people. I mean these people. It's not just some place you just walk in. I mean millionaires and stuff go there, but it's almost anything goes there apparently.
Wow. And of course it's only available to the elite.
Yeah, you gotta go all the way to
You
Russia.
and I can't go in. Well,
Everybody
maybe. I
I know
don't
that's
know.
ever been to like China or Japan,
Uh-huh.
when they go there, they'll go to like the bars or whatever, and they'll come back. They'll go to the bars and be like, "This is the most boring thing I've ever done." Uh, it's so different over there. They have like, okay, so every bar you go into has video games. Like you can play like an Xbox or a PlayStation at your seat. They have like karaoke over here. They have this going on over here. Like even your small little like mom and pop shop has all of this stuff going on.
Wow.
Like
Well,
that's their culture. They're an entertainment that they if you're gonna go in there and spend your money, they're gonna entertain you.
well,
They
you
don't
guys,
need that.
we are down to our last bit of the show here. And I want to thank Isaac for being here.
Yeah, happy to
And
be here.
yeah, and where can our listeners find you at?
I have a profile on the Global Illumination Council, which you can just look for me on there, or you could find me in a few videos on YouTube, or there's a couple other sites I'm in, I guess organization with. I'm like the Oregon Marriage Equality Citizens Initiative Program. There's a few places you can find me, or you can actually just track me down on Facebook. I'd be happy to talk to anyone. That's one of the things I do.
And Isaac Holtz.
Yep, Isaac J. Holt. I guess you
I'm
can find
friends
me
with
on
him
YouTube.
on Facebook, so you can find him through me. And I'm
Yep.
Terry Joyce, and that's Tere Joyce, and I'm on Facebook. And we have our Trips forum and group. We have a group Trips forum with Kevin Korn and North Flat and I, who co-hosts here on Time for Hemp. And of all things, please check out Time for Hemp, time4hemp.com. Become a part of our site. Like us on Spreaker. Like us on Facebook. Donate, and a special shout out to Casper Leach for creating this network to spread the magic of hemp across the planets. Okay, good night. See you tomorrow. We're signing off.